this is probably going to be the most gut-wrenching vote I will take in my entire career here. I think everyone on the council feels the same way. None of us arrived at this position today with any glee in our heart or happiness. Everyone here is really sorrowful for what happened to the city employees. I want to say to you this. Abraham Lincoln said in his Gettysburg Address that the world will little note nor long remember what we did here, what we said here. They will always remember what we did here. I would apply that to you, saying, I shall always remember the forthrightness in which you came forward, the willingness to give and give a lot in which you did that, the ability to sacrifice more than anyone's ever been asked to sacrifice in this city is truly heart-rending. And I shall never denigrate you or belittle you for what you did. The other side of that coin is, though, that we must do something today that solves the problem. And as ERIP evolved, I was elated with the idea of coming with a program that you guys brought forward that may resolve the city's financial woes. I argued vociferously, and I can say this now because I think we're at the end of this discussion period. I argued in EERC with the mayor that 0.75 was not the number. The 0.75 left us with an unfunded liability. And the whole point of ERIP, and point number 15 of the agreement you said we have, said very clearly it's supposed to be cost neutral. This program turned out not to be cost neutral at 0.75. And it was an argument I had, and I said to the mayor, we can't go forward with 0.75 if it doesn't work. We need to go back to the union and have that discussion one more time. And it was the point of EERC and others that we need to just go forward. Mr. Parks brought in an amendment that said, let's check it actuarially and see if it works. That actuarial study came back and said it didn't work. And it is not cost neutral, and it is not totally funded, and does not resolve the city's ongoing problems for the future. That is what has brought us to this point today, and it's truly tragic in one respect that you worked so hard, so diligently, and so honestly to give us something that worked, but it didn't at the end. And that's what I find tragic. But that is what we have to deal with today, is if we can find a way to make that work. I don't think it's possible, because I've heard from you that you don't want to discuss any further 0.75. That's unfortunate, because without that discussion, I don't see how we make this work, and I cannot vote on any program that says we will continue to work throughout the year with you and find other ways to make this work. That's a promise that I can't just take at this point in time. So as we discuss this through the day, I just want to commend you once again for the way you handled yourselves, the professional manner your union leadership handled itself, the way you employees handled yourself is the most commendable thing I've ever seen in 30 years of public employment.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. And there are 2 points that I actually mentioned to Rick Orloff from the papers earlier this morning. The first point is with police. I want to hire to attrition, but I don't want to go beyond that because I don't want to furlough any officers. I think it's kind of counterintuitive that in one hand you bring in fresh new blood, at the same time you put other people on some kind of a furlough. So hire to attrition, so I don't want to go back in time. This is just, and I'd like reaction in your interactions with us if that's possible. Hire to attrition, but do not hire beyond that, and at this point, no furloughs on that, if we can pull it off. Second, on the pension plan. I have said this since the moment I got on this council. In our budget meetings all the time, it was brought up structural deficit in the city. And we have a structural deficit, and we have a structural deficit, and we have a structural deficit in the city. And then all of a sudden we have the meltdown. Our new president held a press conference today with business leaders in New York. A year ago, and now 1 full year, we are in the Great Recession. And let's hope we get out of the Great Recession quickly. That has changed the dynamic. We obviously know the state's monies have drawn back, our own revenue streams have drawn back, and it comes to with the pensions. The pension program, it would be my hope, and I'd like an answer on this, if the unions in a courageous act talked about the pensions from a different perspective. I would just like to take it from my perspective. We all lost money in our pension funds. It was terrible. But I just don't think average taxpayers out there should bail out government employees' pension plans at the expense of government service. I mean, that's a statement I want to make loud and clear. But I also want to say that if we opened up the discussions, and I've said this for a couple of years now, and every one of the coalition members, that there are 22,000 of us, took a 2% additional pension hit now. That money is their money. It goes into their potential pension plans going forward. I would like to know what dramatic impact that would have on the huge deficits we're facing. Because what I would like to accomplish in this budget process is not to lay off any worker. That would be my goal. And it is clear that the layoffs will be those most vulnerable because of the way the system works. And those that are our frontline troops. And they are younger people with families and children with maybe mortgages or rents and health care and education. This would be devastating to them. I would even rather have our mayor call the president when he keeps talking about stimulus money for jobs. Maybe we can get a nickel out of their billions of dollars back there, which would be a couple of $100 million, and we could keep our people on the payroll. I would like to think out of the box on how we can avoid layoffs. And then go back into the pension plan where it would go up 2%, and maybe that would make this whole ERIP thing happen. I mean, I know people say delay, delay, delay. I haven't been delaying here. I don't like the Times little editorial saying we did. We just don't have all the facts. And all I want is the facts and the figures, not a moving target, not a shell game, just the straight skinny about what's going on. That's why I appreciated the unions having 10 minutes to speak, since they are our partners in this. Frankly, they should be at the table with their charts and graphs too, because we're all in this together. Those are my opening comments. Thank you.